The secular leadership of Muslims is a myth. And this myth gets busted every time a party like AIMIM puts its candidate in a triangular contest.
मल्ला समाज जो 3% की आबादी है और वो तेजस्वी के बाजू बैठकर कहता है कि हम उप मुख्यमंत्री होंगे, और बिहार की जनता को खास तौर से वो 17% अल्पसंख्यक समाज को एक पैगाम दे रहा हूं, अगर मल्ला का बेटा उप मुख्यमंत्री बन सकता है तो क्या मोहम्मद का बेटा नहीं बन सकता मुख्यमंत्री? तुम 14% और 36% तुम, और हमको बोल रहे दरी बिछाओ, दरी बिछाओ, दरी बिछाओ.
This new development gives credence to the Jinnah's two-nation theory and renders the Nehruvian and the Gandhian secularism meaningless. It will happen to the parties like Samajwadi Party or say Rashtriya Janata Dal, TMC, and for that matter even Congress. If Muslims tomorrow refuse the leadership of Congress, which they are refusing in certain pockets, so where is the support that Congress would find in Indian politics? Hello viewers, this is Rakesh Kumar Sinha. The rise of AIMIM in recently held elections in Bihar has thrown an interesting topic for the political scientist to debate, to ponder. AIMIM, led by Owaisi, won 5 seats in Simachal areas of Bihar, where the Muslim population was over 65%. It is not that mainstream parties like Congress and RJD had not put up their candidates, but those candidates lost to the candidates fielded by Owaisi-led AIMIM. We can see a paradigm shift in the voting pattern of Muslims in these elections, particularly in the area of Simachal. Previously, the strategy for the Muslim was to vote for the candidate who was most likely to beat BJP or its allies. Now that strategy takes a backseat when there is a rank communal party with a religious agenda like AIMIM puts up its candidate. Why this is happening? It is a serious subject for every political analyst and every political scientist to debate, and it is also a fodder for the thought for the mainstream secular parties like Congress and Rashtriya Janata Dal and Samajwadi Party and Trinamool Congress. These parties are in danger of losing Muslim votes if the pattern that was visible in Bihar election continues in those states also. Muslims are tired of the mainstream political parties. There is a price tag for the Muslim vote, and they are unabashed about it. They want a clear-cut, unambiguous position on every Muslim issues which they considered as their existential threat. For instance, CAA, Common Civil Code and Waqf Board. Only lip service or occasional criticism of BJP is not going to satisfy Muslims. They want concrete action. In a scenario of a triangular fight between BJP and its allies and Mahagathbandhan and a candidate put up by AIMIM, if it happens to be a Muslim majority constituency, Muslims are likely to support the candidate put up by AIMIM. And their earlier strategy of voting RJD candidate or the Congress candidate to defeat BJP-led alliance is no longer considered to be a good choice for the Muslim voters, particularly in the area where they are themselves in a big majority, like the case in Simachal. Muslims are tired of the mainstream political parties, I believe. Let us not forget that the Muslim support has a price tag. They want unequivocal support to the issues that, for instance, CAA, Common Civil Code, Waqf Board Act, etc. It appears that the mainstream party, Congress, and other so-called secular parties like TMC or say RJD or SP, they have not been able to espouse the cause of Muslims to the satisfaction of the Muslim voters. This has led to the disillusionment of Muslim voters from the parties like RJD, Congress, as far as the Bihar is concerned. Muslims are not happy only with the lip service. Occasional criticism of BJP is not sufficient. And even taking some anti-Sanatan position by some parties occasionally not going to satisfy the quest of Muslims to have their voice heard in assembly or in the parliament. They are not happy with the number of these Muslim candidates put up by secular parties as against the Hindu candidates according to the proportion of the caste. For example, Muslims got very few seats in Bihar in comparison to Yadav candidates by RJD, whereas Muslims are more in number in comparison to यादव।
तेजस्वी यादव ये कहता है एम वाई। आपको मालूम कि बिहार में यादव 14% है और मुसलमान 17% है। 22 लोकसभा के टिकट दिए, 9 यादवों को दिए और 2 मुसलमान को दिए। बताइए आप क्या तमाशा हो रहा है? कब तक हम इनको नेता बनाएंगे? कब तक हम इनको मुख्यमंत्री बनाएंगे? इनके वालिद को बनाया, इनकी माता को बनाया, अब इनको बनाओगे? अरे तुम कब बनोगे बताओ मुझे। ये लड़ाई नौजवानों तुम्हारी है, ये तुम्हारे मुस्तकबिल की लड़ाई हम लड़ रहे हैं। और जब तुम ताकतवर हो जाओगे तो याद रखो, एक वक्त आएगा जब तुम बिहार के मुख्यमंत्री बनोगे। आप बनेंगे, आप याद रख लो, मेरी इस बात को लिख के रख लो। जिस दिन आप में सियासी शऊर बेदार हो जाएगा, ऐसा समीकरण बनेगा कि मजबूरन आपको मुख्यमंत्री बनाना पड़ेगा, तभी जाकर हमसे इंसाफ होगा।
Owaisi giving fiery speech in Simanchal areas when he has said the Malha community with the population of 3% only in Bihar, if they can claim the post of the deputy chief minister, why can't Muslims with a population of 14+% claim the same post? They do not want Muslims to only be used for the preparation of holding sabhas and what he calls dari bichhane ke liye. So that is not something acceptable to the Muslim population there. So Muslims have now decided, particularly in the areas where there is a majority of its own population, to vote for the party which is led by Muslim. This is clear and there should not be any ambiguity on this subject. The entire development leads to 2 new trends emerging in the politics of India. Number one, the minority appeasement is becoming costlier day by day, and often it comes at the price of Hindu alienation. Now the mainstream party like Congress, RJD and Samajwadi Party will have to decide that how much they can adjust and make compromises to, if I don't use word appeasement, to win over the votes of the Muslims, because it is becoming increasingly difficult for these parties to. Second is that the secular leadership of Muslims is a myth, and this myth gets busted every time a party like AIMIM puts its candidate in a triangular contest. This new development gives credence to the Jinnah's two-nation theory and renders the Nehruvian and the Gandhian secularism meaningless. This is a new complex situation for the mainstream political party to sit together and decide that whether the future politics of India is going in a bipolar way, where there would be only one party representing all Hindus and only one party representing all Muslims. If this happens, this will be very unfortunate, and it is going to create a further division of the country. And what will happen to the parties like Samajwadi Party or say Rashtriya Janata Dal or TMC and for that matter even Congress? If Muslims tomorrow refuse the leadership of Congress, which they are refusing in certain pockets, so where is the support that Congress would find in Indian politics? BJP is spreading every day. BJP has created a kind of arithmetic in which they have included the OBCs and in Bihar EBCs, Dalits also coming to their fold. They are winning consistently the seats reserved for the scheduled tribe. So with this kind of combination, BJP is able to stitch a very good alliance. And in contrast, Congress is losing its support base one after another. RJD and parties like SP are not in position to take the Muslim votes for granted. The Owaisi phenomenon in Bihar is a testimony to this fact. If the same trend continues, what was witnessed in Bihar, in Bengal, or in Uttar Pradesh, if AIMIM puts its candidate in all constituency of Bengal and Uttar Pradesh, even there is a triangular fight, wherever there is a Muslim majority, the Muslims are likely to vote for AIMIM. That is very likely in some of the constituencies in West Bengal, nearly 50 to 60 constituencies in West Bengal. So for all the Muslims of a Muslim majority constituency decides to vote only for the party led by a Muslim leader, then TMC is going to face heavy losses in the coming elections. The same is going to happen in Uttar Pradesh. We have recently seen in the local polls of Uttar Pradesh, AIMIM has made serious dents into the Muslim votes, which was otherwise going to Samajwadi Party. So with this, I am leaving this question open to my viewers to find an answer. Are we going to validate Jinnah's two-nation theory, or are we staying with Gandhian and Nehruvian form and model of secularism that India has practiced over the years? The rise of Owaisi is a serious threat to the Gandhian and Nehruvian secularism. It is denting the fundamentals of Indian secularism on which we have taken so much of pride. Thank you very much for listening.